One of the greatest songs of 1978, and certainly one of the most universally loved, came out of nowhere, or more specifically, it came where you would have least expected. It came from an obscure, humble man from Scotland who 5 years earlier had been in a folk pop duo named Steelers Wheel. Yes, I am talking about Gerry Rafferty, who scored the Billboard Coup of the Year when his album City to City knocked the Saturday Night Fever soundtrack after #1, ending that soundtrack's 6-month reign at the top of the Billboard chart. And he did it on the power of a #3 hit from that album, which has just that unforgettable sax riff. I am talking about Baker Street. Can you tell what that sound is? Is it like a flute synth? Is it the closer I listen to it, it's not like a light guitar, kind of like on a clean setting, just sustained notes. Now, you're paying attention to that sax, but you also notice those, Gerry Rafferty, who's a guitarist and vocalist, moving his hand down the fretboard as he, that sound, I forget what they call that, that technique. Paul Weller used to use, or Paul Weller used to take his pick and kind of run it down along the threads of the bigger chords. Yeah. That sax riff, for what it's worth, was apparently lifted from a Steve Marcus composition from 1968. Winding your way down the Baker Street, lighting your head and dead on your feet. Well, another crazy day. Drink the night away and forget about everything. This city desert makes you feel so cold. It's got so many people, but it's got no soul, and it's taking you so long to find out you're wrong when you thought it held everything. Let's see. Winding your way down on Baker Street, light in your head and dead on your feet. Well, another crazy day, you'll drink the night away and forget about everything. So far, we're getting the picture of someone who's kind of haggard by the daily grind. The city desert makes you feel so cold. City desert, interesting metaphor. It's got so many people, but it's got no soul, and it's taking you so long to find out you were wrong when you thought it held everything. So the person being addressed here is disillusioned with the city life, with the daily grind, with the anonymity of the urban environment, the impersonalization, feeling alone in a crowd, feeling like exhausted by work and just the mundanity of the schedule and the regiments. You used to think that it was so easy. You used to say that it was so easy, but you're trying now. Another year and then you'd be happy. Just one more year and then you'd be happy, but you're crying
used to think that it was so easy. You used to say that it was so easy, but you're trying now. So before this person made his or her way to the city, the person imagined it would be the good life, the easy life, getting out of wherever they were from, the suburbs, the country, getting to the big city. Perhaps saw it as the big time, saw it as excitement, saw it as parties, saw it as, where all the cool stuff was happening, and is now disillusioned. I can relate to that, kind of like my experience in LA. Another year and then you'd be happy. Just one more year and then you would be happy. You'd in the past tense, meaning this is what the person used to be anticipating, but no longer doesn't. But you're crying now. So this person no longer believes in what they had about that the breakthrough or was just like a year away, and then they would be where they wanted to be. It looks like this person has been in the city for a while and just hasn't really been making headway, isn't, living in that cool fancy apartment or whatever, hasn't scored that great job, isn't living the life. Notice how the chorus is that's the chorus, basically. That the chorus is the instrumental. That's one of the very distinctive things about this track. Do you think that Gerry Rafferty has like a really noticeable Scottish accent, or do you think I think he kind of reins it in? Scots often curl their vowels, and if you're unfamiliar, can be a bit more difficult to understand when they speak than, say, English. People from southeast England. I think he downplays the accents, though, somewhat on record.
But he'll always keep moving. He's never gonna stop moving. 'Cause he's rolling, he's the rolling stone. When you wake up, it's a new morning. The sun is shining, it's a new morning. You're going home.
Let's catch up on the lyrics here. Way down the street, there's a light in his place. He opens the door, he's got that look on his face. I like that line, there's a light in his place. The light on, from the outside, you can see a window. Through his window, you can see his lights are on, so he's awake. It's an all right time to drop in. He opens the door, he's got that look on his face, and he asks you where you've been. Oh, he's got that look on his face, so it's kind of like that look of wonder, that look of curiosity, that look of shock. I guess when you haven't seen, what brings you here? Sort of, that kind of look. He asks you where you've been, you tell him who you've seen, and you talk about anything. He's got this dream about buying some land. He's going to give up the booze and the one-night stands, and then he'll settle down in some quiet little town and forget about everything. A lot of people, they spend a while in the city and they their illusions are shattered, and they ultimately want to get out after a while. And the thought about going out off somewhere and just owning your own, like owning a piece of property free and clear, and not having to worry about rent anymore. Heck, not having to worry about having your apartment broken into or something. It's something I think about admittedly. I think about moving to Central Oregon, like Deschutes County, maybe, and buying a tiny house out there, owning it free and clear in a couple of years, and just not having to worry about rent anymore. But you know he'll always keep moving. You know he's never going to stop moving because he's rolling. He's the rolling stone. Oh, so so the narrator's observation is that this guy that we were just getting to know is probably never going to be content. He's going to get restless once again when he buys his little oasis out, in the middle of nowhere, He's going to once again get bored and want to be heading on to something else in a few years after that. And when you wake up, it's a new morning. The sun is shining. It's a new morning, and you're going home. Huh. So that means each new day is going to be kind of like a new journey, basically. And so... That saxophone is played by Raphael Ravenscroft, a late musician, passed away in 2014. Let's see, what else did he do here? Oh, he was on Hazel O'Connor. He was on some Brand X, it seems. Robert Plant, Chris Rea, Mike Oldfield. Oh, that's awesome that he worked with Chris Rea, because I often compare City to City and Whatever Happened to Benny Santini. Both artists came out well. Rafferty came out solo, and Rea emerged around the same time, and I kind of see them in a similar vein. This and Full If You Think It's Over. Two of the very few songs by unestablished British entities to make it in the U.S. during the late 70s. You can tell that this is a song that really came together through studio layering and studio work. I don't think it was written like the way that Rafferty wrote a lot of his songs, being the folky that he was. I don't think it was just all written on acoustic guitar. A lot of these nuances could have only come together through studio layering. That immortal sax riff. For more Rubies and Sapphires, see the G link.